If you are anything like me and just think, sometimes these publications, well, they kind of get it wrong. Then you got a home here. Welcome to the Go Show, celebrating all things outdoors in this beautiful outdoor playground of a state, a nation, and world that we live in. I appreciate you hanging out with us. I in my daily, I read a lot of articles, and I read a lot of articles for both this program, and I read a lot of articles for the news talk. I don't know what we're going to call that show. Tune in at noon to see the evolution. But I, I come across a lot of things that just make me roll my eyes, and it seems like there is, even in our outdoor world, just content for content, just people throwing up the stuff in articles that just absolutely it lead you the wrong way. And let me back up if I can, because it is a story that is stuck with me for a very long time. I started playing golf when I was 7 years old. I'll never forget. My father handed me a golf club, said, "Here's your first business lesson. Learn how to play golf." And obviously it served me later in life, but I got burnt out on golf because I became, low 80s, like a decent golfer, but I had two lessons in my entire life. And one of those lessons changed my outdoor world as well as my regular world. So listen to this. I'm going to name drop here because it was really a cool experience as a kid. So the Gen Xers, you'll come with me on this one. So my father lived up in Seattle, and he said, "I'm going to get you a golf lesson." And this was like, I was like, okay, after 10 years, but okay, rock on. I'll finally take a golf lesson. And I was sitting waiting for the guy he bought a golf lesson for me with, and he was with his client before me. And I was like, I can't believe I'm looking at what I'm looking at right now. I looked at my father and I said, "Is that Ken Griffey Jr.?" And he said, "Yeah, it's Ken Griffey Jr." I'm like, holy mackerel. I'm watching Junior swing a golf club, get taught by this guy. This is fantastic. The two takeaways I had from that lesson, one was clear your hips like Junior. And I about punched the guy. I'm like, who in the world can do that? No one can do that. That's it. He's not human. Junior can swing a club and a bat like no one else. And he said, don't subscribe to golf magazines. And in a way, it's the same with every single type of magazine, genre of magazine, or even publication, newspaper, website. Kind of guard your ears on that. He said, because if you have a slice or you have a hook, you got to, whatever, you can't hit a driver, whatever it is, you are going to find out 19 different ways to cure that slice, and none of them work for you because you are individual. You are different. And in our outdoor world, I think that's the same thing, is that there is not one firearm that you should, you got to have this, and you got to have this firearm, and you got to throw this bait, and you got to throw this rod and reel. This is what you have to have. No, it's all you. It's personal. And the personal touch that goes into, I'm sorry, the patience that is rewarded in that personal, that idea of a personal fit for everything makes your outdoor world wildly better. Firearm, boots, tent, camping equipment, cook, whatever it is. If you just find what works best for you, guess what? You are going to have a wildly better experience, whether it's on a golf course or in a campsite or in a hunt camp, whatever it is. But don't let somebody tell you this is the way. My biggest eye roll in all of my show research that I get is the articles that say top 10 this, the best this of 2024. For who? It might be the best for the person that wrote that article. Sure, they ranked them. That person and me. My girlfriend swears by Chacos, the ugliest sandals in the planet. As a matter of fact, she said she's going to hike Havasupai, going down and up in these sandals. You won't catch me dead. Well, actually, hold on. You might catch me dead wearing these sandals. I'm sure she'd throw them on me as I'm going into the whatever oven thing to cremate me. I'm not. She said, "Ha ha! I did catch you dead in them." I am not going to wear those damn things. They're ugly. They're horrible. I don't like them. But she loves them. Swears by them. And I see a lot of people that wear these Chacos that absolutely love them. They're no way in the world they're for me. But someone would tell me, "Oh man, Want to have soup pie, buddy? You should probably get some Chacos or something like that. You got to get these type of shoes or these type of sandals. You need Tevas. And yes, it's pronounced Teva. You need to get Tevas. No, I don't. I have a low ankle bone, and the little plastic triangle just eats right into that dang thing. They're so wildly uncomfortable to me. And if anybody brings up Crocs, we're gonna have an issue. We're definitely gonna have an issue. But I don't want somebody to tell you, and I'm not going to be that person, exactly what you have to have. Anything. Nope. Top 10 means nothing, in my opinion. I'm telling you, Lynn brings up a good point here. The top 10 means absolutely nothing. It's an opinion. It's a feeling, and it's not your opinion and not your feeling. It might give you a good idea to say, okay, well, I read about these. I'm going to take a look, but to go on that is nothing. And here's why I'm going off on this. And this, I apologize for a 5-minute rant on that. But I read an article that was the best, cheapest way to go tuna fishing. And I'm thinking, oh boy, do I got to read this one, because it's the best. It's the best. Yeah, Jim said 95% of people survey set. And by the way, in any polling that you see, whether it's political polling, opinion polling, whatever it is, if it is not 1,500 plus people, I don't even want to. I hate those any type of article like even this one. Say this one, the best reviews of tuna fishing. 50 people surveyed. No way. So this is what it said. I'm gonna get to you just so it said. It said the cheapest way to catch tuna. If you dream of battling yellowfins, bluefins, and big eyes, there's no more frugal way to make it a reality. Oh, buckle up if you're an angler. Buckle up. Than on a party boat. I can't think of something that I want to do less than get on a party boat and fish tuna. I'm sorry. I don't even care if it's a long range. I'm talking like 5-6 days. I ain't even talking about that. What's up, Rhonda? Better late than never. You're good. But there's no way. I have caught a lot of tuna. And I'll tell you that it's by the grace of God I caught those things, because I was just smart enough to know the power of buying someone's alcohol the night before. That's why I caught it. I've been on one of these party boats. These party boats are challenging. People get in fights. It is not an enjoyable experience, even if you're catching fish. And it's just not worth it. But here's what is. Getting a bunch of your friends together and finding like a 12-pack boat where you got and 11 of your buddies out there, or even a 6-pack charter where it's you and 5 of your buddies, and saving that. Right, exactly, Rondo. Who wants to fish from a party boat? Oh, and Jimmy said party boat's foolish. Because let me explain what I mean by this. So the party boat, when you're out just offshore fishing, tuna is the target, whatever the target is, you do something called the tuna shuffle. If you guys don't know what the tuna shuffle is, this is very simple. Okay. Let's say that 2 of the people are let's say the whole boat's just bent rods, and it's just everybody's got a tune on. So now what you have to do is you have to watch your line, and you have to watch all of the adjacent lines to see if their fish is farther than yours is closer. If that's the case, you want to go under. So you tell these people, I'm coming under you. I'm coming under you. And they're going to be like, I'm coming over you, coming over you, coming over you. And people are constantly shifting as the fish dictates where their line is going to go. And there are a lot of jabronis out there, a lot of slappies that stopped at Circle K and got these polarized lenses so they could see their lines. They can't see their line. They have no idea what their fish is doing. No idea. And I am not sponsored by, but there's one brand of sunglasses that I wear because of this and this alone. I wear Native sunglasses because they have the best polarization, I think, in the biz. Better than Cresta, better than all. I'm telling you. I can see lines clearly. I can see there's zero reflection off the water. I can see very clearly. It's fantastic. Anyway, so you have to learn this. And then, God forbid, they go over when they should go under. You're doing the right thing, right? You've done the right thing. You know exactly which way you should go. And your line gets tangled. I've seen fights break out, and I'm talking about fist fights break out over things like this because people are so amped to get their fish in that they go to fists. It's absolutely insane. One person polled native is the best. Thank you, Jim. Yes, that's all right. We usually go 1,500, but today it's one. Native is the best. Native is the best, Jim, for me. Your eyes are probably a lot different. He said he's caught boatloads of tuna with 2 lines dragging off the back. Oh, yeah. I'm telling you. But all bets aside, if you have a bet on the boat, yeah, trolling does not count. Trolling catches do not count on bets. Dock fights. Oh, please, man. Dock fights are the best. Let's see if we can get that in FAF. Let's see if I can do that FAFO Friday. Yeah. Might do dock fights. I'm going to see if I can find a few. I'm sure I can find a few. And we'll play with that one, Brendan. But on the boat, though, I mean, okay, the dock, at least you can leave. Maybe law enforcement can show up and put an end to that. You're 200 miles offshore, and it's you and 20 other people. Man, forget that noise. But and it might be the cheapest way, yes, but you get what you pay for in this regard. Like if you're gonna say, okay, instead of $500 for my fishing trip for 2 nights, I'm gonna pay $250, half that. But now I have double the people, and I have double the opportunities of a bunch of jackhats out there with me. I am not risking that. Because as I mentioned, my girlfriend comes with 2 kids. I come with 2 kids. We're a 6-pack. I mean, if I'm putting that kind of cheddar down, if I'm putting that kind of jack down for an adventure and a kind of an experience, it better damn well be good. I'm not leaving anything to risk. And especially some guy that's been out there and he's been day drinking the entire day, and he's getting mad that I tangled up with his line. Here's a fun story though. I was on an offshore boat, and this blew me away. Okay, first of all, when you see a deckhand that looks like this, the deckhand was not wearing a shirt. He was, I think he had maybe 1.5% body fat and just like yoked out. I was like, okay, well, he looked like Brad Pitt in Fight Club. And I'm like, okay, bro. That didn't qualify him, but here's what he did have. He had a giant back tattoo that's about as big as that logo behind me in the same circle. And it had a smiley face with X eyes. So the dead smiley face on his back. He had a tuna outline tattoo on his neck. He had hook tattoos on his arm. I'm like, that's my guy right there. That guy lives and breathes it. I want this guy around me. And it turned out to be the right decision because I got tangled up with 2 other, not one other angler, 2 other anglers. So we got all of our tuna coming up about the same time. We got deep color and color about the same time. And what you know is here's what that means. When you're looking over the rail of a tuna boat and you're fishing and you start to see the outline of the fish, like that's yours. You yell out deep color. What that does is tell the deckhand, go get the gaff and get ready. Get by me. And then when it's there, you see it clear as day. You just yell color. And then it's like, okay, everybody's going to focus on that. We're going to make sure we get that tuna on the boat. Okay. I miss tuna fishing too, Ron. It's been a hot minute. So that's when you got it. So we had 2 of us had deep color. 1 of us had color, and all of our tuna start to do one thing. And that's at the very end of the ride. Essentially, they start to do something called pinwheeling. And pinwheeling just means they just go in a circle. They just go, what's up, Chris? They just go in a circle, 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 circle. It's called pinwheeling. So all 3 of these started to dance together and do this circle. And our lines are going like this. And I'm like, oh, crap. Here I fought this thing for 45 minutes. And now I'm like, oh, great. I'm going to lose my fish. But I'm not going to fist with anybody. It just is what it is. The deckhand with the tuna tattoo comes over to all of us and he goes, just open your bails. We're like, okay. He grabs the line. All 3, like it's like a paracord at this point. And this SOB just starts doing this. He hand lines 3 40-pound plus albacore to the boat at the same time. That's why when you see a deckhand that has tuna tattoos on their neck and hooks on their arms, that you just stay right here, buddy. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I don't know what that means, Rhonda. I think that's I don't know. I have no idea what to say to that. Anyway, so we got all three, and all three of those tuna were landed. That just absolutely blows me away. And so to get back to this, by the way, again, the moral of the story is this: save money, sit a year out if you have to, sit a season out, save money for a charter that is you and your people. These party boats are ridiculous, but you can get a good deal on them. My buddy Dell goes out on these things every year. I just, man, it's just not for me. It just isn't. I'd rather tell everybody in my group, okay, we're all going to save some dough, and we'll all pay for this together. But oh, man, I'm telling you. Anyway, second story about that. Then we'll get to this whole discrimination in the outdoors. This is one of the dumbest stories I've heard in a hot minute. It's coming up in just moments. I was out the first time tuna fishing, and I couldn't catch anything. Everyone else had bent poles. And okay, so you had a seafood allergy. I was like, I do not know where you're going with that, Rhonda. She said she said likely miss it for a different reason than me. Yeah, seafood allergy. God, my heart goes out to you. My heart's breaking right now. Anyway, everybody's got bent poles. I can't catch a fish. And so that night, I go into the galley, and there's this dude that's catching fish. And he reminds me of Quint from Jaws. This is what that guy looked like. So that's where your mind's eye should go when I say this guy. He's over there singing, farewell and adieu, ye old Spanish ladies, right? He's Quint. And so I thought, Gris says he tuna fishes in his pantry. Congratulations. I'm glad I read that right. Anyway, so I go up to this guy. I introduce myself, and I say, I'll take care of your galley tab tonight if tomorrow you show me what the hell I'm doing wrong. And he said, okay. And so for 5 beers, which is close to $50 on a boat, the next morning, everybody's been over on fish. We're above a whole school of tuna. And he goes, okay, go into the live well. And he said, grab a bait. And so I reach in to grab the bait, and he goes, throw it over the rail. You got the wrong one. I'm like, okay, so right out of the gates, I'm doing everything wrong. He said, that's the one you want right there. And he said, it's aggressive. It's moving fast. He goes, that's the one you want to get. Then I pick it up. He goes, throw it over. He goes, you don't want to grab the thing like you're grabbing. You have to hold it just like you're just like presenting it almost. He goes, because all the scales will come off, and it's not shiny anymore. It'll come off on your hand. Sure enough, I look at my hand. It looks like a disco ball. And so I throw I get the right one on there, toss it over, do everything right. And he said, okay, now here's what I want you to do. So I want you to take your left hand and hold on tight. He goes, get this right here. And I want you to hit that little switch right there because you got a fish on. I'm like, I don't have a fish on. Holy God. Yeah. And then I caught 4 fish that day. I brought, I think it was 70 pounds of bluefin and albacore. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, party boats, no, es no bueno. That was actually a light party boat. It was part of some guy's show that he has. This guy was obnoxious as hell too. It was terrible. But we all got a good deal on it. It wasn't too bad. But I won some cool fishing lures on it. Yeah. It actually caught some damn fish. Yeah. So anyway, save the money. Don't get on the tuna boats. Let's move over to this weird thing that I was reading this morning. It's absolutely absurd. I think Michigan's going the way of California. It's just me. But Michigan, this is so terrible. Michigan makes youth hunts and opportunities for disabled hunters antlerless only. So what they're saying is, in Michigan, that has an overabundance of beautiful whitetail, Michigan is only allowing people that are adults without disabilities the opportunity to hunt record buck, like trophy bucks or something you want to put on the wall. You can't have it anymore in disabled hunters. This is probably one of the dumbest things I've seen. This actually makes me mad. You don't know this. Yeah, whatever. Politics is what politics is. I do it every day. It rarely makes me mad. This actually got me kind of fired up. The hunting regulations were released last month and address the state's booming whitetail deer population. Isn't that fantastic? You have a booming whitetail deer population. One of the most controversial approved changes would be the state's youth hunts and opportunities for disabled hunters are antlerless. So that means only doe. You can only hunt doe, only girl deers. And that is, and I know deers, I get it. Maybe I need some coffee. All right. So this is a quote from one of the opposition to this is a state senator. He said, many youth in my district would prefer you told them Santa is not coming for Christmas this year rather than telling them that they cannot harvest a buck in September or moving forward until they're adults. The establishment of an early season for youth to hunt deer was a successful way to get our next generation excited about hunting and being outdoors. Limiting this hunt to only does will crush enthusiasm and drastically reduce the effectiveness of this great tool. I love how he ended that, because that's exactly what this is. So there's a youth hunt that starts before the hunt for adults, for big boys. So there's big boys and girls, excuse me. So there's a youth hunt, and that youth hunt locks, and I mean locks, kids in to participate in the North American model of wildlife conservation for the rest of their lives. Locks them in. And they have trophies on the wall for their entire life to remind them of the amazing experience they had as a youth, to get out and do it some more. And again, participate in the North American model of wildlife conservation. That's why it was such a great thing for Thomas Albert, the state senator, to end his quote with, that will drastically reduce the effectiveness of this great tool. And that tool is part of conservation. But then, okay, so youth, I get it. Hey, life's tough, kid. You got to wait till you're an adult, grow up. I get it to an extent. But disabled? I knew Lynn would jump in on this as a man with a disability, like me with a disability. His disability a lot more challenging than mine. But I think that that's just absolutely awful. So this is purely discrimination. Like, listen, I've told my kids a bazillion D times, life is tough. And adults can do things that kids can't. So you're just going to have to deal with it. I've told them that a ton. And if that's the way a state wants to go, I don't agree with it. That's lame. But knowing people like Lynn, knowing people like my buddy Dan, the blind hunter, that now he can't take trophies. Lynn can't take a trophy. Look at him, a big old buck. Got to settle for a little doe. How do you do that? Like, and that's the thing. Like, again, I don't get mad at this, but I'm like, guys, who sat around the table writing this legislation and said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take it away from the disabled. What does that mean? Like, they don't need a freezer full of meat? They don't want a trophy buck? A disabled person doesn't want a great, like, profile picture with a big old rack? It's a lot of jokes there, Grizz. Settle down. But you don't want a picture with that? Of course they do. Of course they do. And they have to look at everyone else and say, oh, they have the opportunity because they're not blind like Dan. They're not in a wheelchair. And yes, by the way, my buddy Dan is very blind, hunts, and is probably taking more. He's taken a lot more game than me. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Actually, we probably have Dan back on. We should probably have him back on. Yeah. He uses a Tacticam system. It's so crazy. His guide is behind him, like playing a video game, because his guide is by like a laptop or phone, whatever he's on, or the tablet, and he's telling Dan, up, right, down, fire. He's playing a video game with a real person. It's fantastic, so cool. What amazing technology that is. But I mean, you think about this, Lynn. I mean, there's a special regulation for crossbows for people with disabilities and handicaps. Then, but why they should have, the disabled community should have certain concessions that we don't have, as I don't know the proper term for it, but non-handicap peeps, non-handy peeps. I go with that. You all know me. So they should have concessions we don't. We shouldn't have concessions that they don't. It's the most bass-backwards thing. So you think about somebody's writing this legislation. I got an idea. Again, How about we just we handicap the handicap community? It's a bunch of nonsense. If too many bucks are being taken out and that's your argument, then lower the amount of buck tags. And that, by the way, that's going to get you backlash. People are not going to be happy about that, limiting buck tags, especially in these Midwest states. People are going to be ticked off about that. But it's not too bad you have a disability. You can't shoot a buck. Michigan. I'm seriously going away to California. This makes zero sense. Yeah. Hey, Lynn, I'm with you on that, buddy. Well, actually, there's a couple reasons, but yeah. Lynn said, then why bother hunting? And yeah, still good, but an insult. It's like starting the day hunting when somebody kicks you in the pills and you're just like, oh gosh, this is not going to be fun. Or it could be a lot more fun without this, right? Like you start in a way that's just, the vibe is gone. And so I'm with you on that. But I will tell you this though. If my hunt this November is successful, my elk hunt, my bull hunt, and that is successful, meaning I have solid rack to put on the wall, I'm putting in for, I'm just going to go ahead and put in for cow tags and doe tags from here on out. I'm sorry, cow tags. You can't shoot doe here, but the cow tags, because you're more likely to get drawn and you get a freezer full of meat. Mm-hmm. You sure the rules isn't during the early season? The early season is for youth. That's just the youth, the utes. Let's get to it here. Yeah, let's go to the early season. Mm-hmm. 2-day Liberty Firearm season takes place September and is open to hunters 16 and younger and to individuals qualifying disabilities. Yes, so it is the youth hunt, but if they have a tag, that's the only way they can have a tag. You have a tag, it's the early season. You have an early season tag, you have an early season tag. Yes. Yeah, I guess, discrimination, I guess, is good in only certain states. Apparently, you can get away with that. That's just dumb. And no, Kim brings up a good point. Because it is during the early season, yet still, you're quite literally discriminating against disability, against people that with disabilities. It's blowing my mind that is even in there. And I'm sure that's the hunt. That's fine. But they say, listen, 18 and under, 16 and under, you are you're barred from taking anything with a rack. Everyone with a disability, hell, you can take 2, right? Like that, it doesn't even make sense what season it is. But Kim, thank you for the clarification. That still doesn't make sense. Like you sat around a table writing this legislation to say let's discriminate against the disabled. I have no idea how that's even. And Rhonda brings up the blue state thing, but isn't that the kind of the MO of the blue state? Wouldn't it be the opposite of that? And by the way, I would take that. They're like, we're going to cut in half the ability and tags of able-bodied Americans. We're going to cut that in half, and we're going to double it for the disabled and veterans. Done. Good. Sucks for me, but great for them, and they deserve it. Mm-hmm. Yes. Oh, yeah. That's right. Try your best. You should. That's right. That's absolutely right. But yeah, that is a weird thing. Michigan going the way of California. Good luck to you. But again, it's just it's legislating what should be legislating rules and laws, which should be based in science, not in politics and in nonsense. So that's what happens. That's really what happens. Y'all, thanks for hanging out. This is fun. By the way, tuna fishing is one of the most fun things you're ever going to do in your life. You're on their home court. They're stronger than you. They're faster than you, and they will try to destroy you. It's wild. It's so much fun. Too much fun. So get that, make it happen. Go ahead and Mike at gomicrossel.com if you want suggestions of where I like to go out and fish, and we'll go from there. All right, y'all. So have a great afternoon, and we'll do this again tomorrow at 11 right here on the Go Show, celebrating all things outdoors in this beautiful outdoor playground of a state.